Hello there and welcome to the Dreamy Science channel. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Tonight, we're exploring the most soothing secrets of mushrooms, those quiet architects of the forest floor who work their magic in silence and shadow. We'll wander through their hidden networks, discover their ancient wisdom, and learn about the gentle ways they shape our world. Some of what you hear may surprise you in the softest way possible. Other discoveries might simply float by like spores on a gentle breeze, settling into your thoughts as you drift toward sleep. And if these peaceful explorations help you unwind or give your mind a quiet place to rest, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps others find their way to these calming corners of science. Now, let yourself get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin this gentle journey into the fascinating world of mushrooms. Mushrooms are mostly water, just like you. When you touch a mushroom's soft cap or sturdy stem, you're feeling something that's about 90% water. This makes them remarkably similar to the human body, which is also mostly water. It's a quiet connection between you and these forest dwellers, a shared foundation of life's most essential element. This high water content is part of what makes mushrooms so delicate and ephemeral. They appear after rain, flourish in moisture, and can disappear almost as quickly as they arrived. Like morning dew that vanishes with the sun, mushrooms remind us of life's gentle, temporary nature. Their watery essence allows them to be incredibly responsive to their environment, swelling with moisture when conditions are right, and quietly retreating when the world becomes too dry. In this simple fact lies something deeply peaceful about mushrooms. They are not trying to fight against the natural rhythms of wetness and dryness, growth and rest. They simply flow with what the world offers them, expanding and contracting like a slow, steady breath. The mushroom you see is just the tip of something vast and hidden. What we call a mushroom is actually just the fruiting body of a much larger organism living beneath the surface. Like an apple on a tree, the mushroom is simply the visible part of an extensive underground network called mycelium. This network can stretch for acres beneath your feet, quietly connecting trees, plants, and soil in an intricate web of fungal threads finer than silk. Some of these networks are among the largest living organisms on Earth, spreading slowly and patiently through forests for hundreds or even thousands of years. They work in darkness, never seeking attention, simply growing thread by thread through the soil. There's something wonderfully calming about this hidden vastness. While we see only the small mushroom pushing up through fallen leaves, beneath lies an entire world of gentle, persistent growth. It's like discovering that every flower in a meadow is connected by invisible threads, all part of one great, quiet conversation happening just below the surface of things. Mushrooms can glow in the dark with their own soft light. In the depths of forests around the world, some mushrooms create their own gentle illumination. This isn't reflected light or stored sunlight, but a soft, cold glow produced through a chemical reaction within their tissues. Scientists call this bioluminescence, the same phenomenon that makes fireflies twinkle and deep-sea creatures shimmer in the ocean's darkness. The light is usually green or blue, gentle and ethereal, like nature's own nightlight scattered across the forest floor. These glowing mushrooms often appear on rotting logs or in damp, shadowy places where their soft radiance can guide insects to help spread their spores. The glow is never harsh or blinding, just a quiet presence in the darkness. Some cultures have called them fairy lights or ghost mushrooms, and it's easy to understand why. There's something magical about discovering a softly glowing fungus in the woods, like finding a small lantern left behind by woodland spirits. This natural luminescence reminds us that even in the darkest places, life finds gentle ways to create beauty and wonder. Fungi are nature's great recyclers, turning death into new life. Every fallen leaf, every toppled tree, every creature that returns to the earth becomes part of the fungi's quiet work of transformation. They are the ultimate recyclers, breaking down complex organic matter and returning nutrients to the soil where new life can begin. This process happens slowly, gently, without violence or destruction. Fungi simply embrace what has fallen and gradually transform it into something new. A mushroom growing from a fallen log is not destroying that log, but giving it a new form of life. The wood becomes part of the fungal network, its nutrients flowing to support new growth throughout the forest. This cycle of renewal has been happening for hundreds of millions of years, long before humans walked the earth. Fungi have been quietly cleaning up, breaking down and rebuilding the natural world with endless patience. There's something deeply comforting about this role they play. In a world that often feels chaotic or wasteful, fungi remind us that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed into something different and beautiful. Some mushrooms can live for thousands of years, while the mushrooms we see above ground may last only days or weeks. The fungal networks beneath can persist for millennia. The largest known fungal organism, an armillaria mushroom in Oregon, is estimated to be over 2,000 years old and covers more than 2,000 acres. It has been growing slowly and steadily through the forest floor since before the Roman Empire, quietly connecting trees and recycling nutrients generation after generation. This ancient being has witnessed countless seasons, survived droughts and floods, fires and storms, all while maintaining its gentle work of supporting forest life. Other fungal networks around the world may be even older, their exact ages lost to time, but their presence undeniable in the healthy forests they help maintain. These ancient fungi don't rush or hurry. They simply persist, growing a little each year, adapting to changes, supporting the forest community with the patience that comes from knowing that time moves differently when you measure it in centuries rather than seasons. Their longevity speaks to the quiet strength that comes from working with natural processes rather than against them. Mushrooms communicate with trees through chemical signals. In the forest, an invisible conversation is always taking place beneath your feet. Fungi and trees share information through chemical messages passed along the mycelial network, like a biological internet connecting the entire forest. When a tree is attacked by insects, it can send chemical warnings through the fungal network to neighboring trees, allowing them to boost their defenses before the threat arrives. When nutrients are scarce in one area, trees can share resources with their neighbors through the fungal connections, ensuring the whole forest community remains healthy. The fungi facilitate these exchanges, taking a small percentage of the nutrients for themselves, while enabling this remarkable cooperation. This communicate ion system is gentle and gradual, not the frantic signals of alarm we might imagine, but more like a slow, thoughtful conversation between old friends. The messages travel through the network at their own pace, allowing the forest to respond to challenges with collective wisdom rather than individual panic. It's a reminder that cooperation and mutual support create stronger communities than competition ever could. Fungi help create soil from solid rock. Over incredibly long periods of time, fungi have the power to break down even the hardest granite into fertile soil. They do this not through force or violence, but through the gentle persistence of chemical processes. Fungal threads can work their way into tiny cracks in rocks, secreting acids that slowly dissolve the minerals. As the rock gradually breaks down, it mixes with organic matter to create the rich soil that supports plant life. This is one of the most patient processes in nature, taking place over hundreds or thousands of years. The fungi don't rush this transformation. They simply persist, working steadily to turn the bones of the earth into the soft foundation for forests and meadows. Without fungi, our planet might still be a world of bare rock, unable to support the lush plant communities we know today. They are the quiet architects of habitability, making it possible for life to take root in places that were once sterile stone. This slow transformation speaks to the power of gentle persistence, showing how even the hardest substances yield to patient, consistent effort over time. Some mushrooms can survive being frozen solid and come back to life. In the depths of winter, when ice covers the forest floor, many mushrooms seem to disappear completely. But some species have developed the remarkable ability to freeze solid and then resume their normal activities when warmer weather returns. Their cells contain special compounds that prevent ice crystals from forming and damaging their delicate structures. Like nature's own antifreeze, these substances allow the mushroom to enter a state of suspended animation, waiting patiently for conditions to improve. When spring arrives and temperatures rise, these mushrooms thaw out and continue growing as if nothing had happened. It's a gentle form of time travel, allowing them to skip over the harsh months and emerge into a more favorable season. This ability to pause and resume life demonstrates the remarkable flexibility of fungi, their capacity to adapt to challenging conditions without struggle or resistance. They simply wait, knowing that difficult times are temporary and that patience is often the best response to adversity. Mushrooms can clean polluted soil and water. In our modern world, fungi offer hope for healing damaged environments. Certain mushroom species have the remarkable ability to absorb and break down pollutants, heavy metals, and toxic chemicals from contaminated soil and water. This process, called mycoremediation, works like nature's own cleanup crew, slowly and gently removing harmful substances from the environment. The fungi don't reject or fight against these pollutants, but instead embrace them, incorporating them into their biological processes and rendering them harmless. Oil spills, pesticide contamination, and industrial waste can all be addressed through the patient work of these remarkable organisms. They ask for nothing in return except time and the basic conditions they need to grow. This natural form of environmental healing happens quietly, without fanfare or dramatic intervention. Just the steady work of organisms doing what they do best. It's a beautiful example of how nature contains within itself the solutions to many of the problems we create. If only we're patient enough to let these gentle processes unfold. Fungi were among Earth's first land dwellers. Long before forests covered the earth, before flowers bloomed or birds sang, fungi were already here, quietly pioneering life on land. They were among the first organisms to leave the ancient oceans and establish themselves on the rocky, barren continents. These early fungi worked alongside primitive plants to transform the harsh landscape into something more hospitable. They helped create the first soils, established the first partnerships with plant roots, and began the long process of making land suitable for the complex ecosystems we know today. For hundreds of millions of years, they have been Earth's patient gardeners, slowly and steadily preparing the ground for all the life that would follow. Their presence on land predates our oldest trees, our most ancient flowers, even the first insects that would eventually pollinate those flowers. They are the quiet elders of the terrestrial world, holding within their networks the accumulated wisdom of eons spent transforming rock into soil, establishing connections, and supporting life in all its emerging forms. Some mushrooms taste like chicken, others like seafood. Among the many gifts fungi offer the world is an incredible diversity of flavors and textures. The oyster mushroom, with its delicate, slightly sweet taste and tender texture, has often been compared to fresh seafood. Chicken of the woods mushrooms earn their name from their uncanny resemblance to poultry in both taste and texture. Shiitake mushrooms offer rich, savory notes that enhance any dish they join. These varied flavors develop naturally as the mushrooms grow, influenced by what they consume from their environment and how their unique biology processes those nutrients. Each species has evolved its own distinctive character, its own way of concentrating and transforming the essence of the forest into something delicious and non-nourishing. There's something wonderfully generous about this diversity, as if fungi are offering us a vast menu of experiences, each one a different way to taste the forest itself. They don't compete with each other for our attention, but instead provide an abundance of choices, each valuable in its own way. Mushrooms can grow in perfect spirals and geometric patterns. Nature's artistry is beautifully displayed in the way some mushrooms arrange themselves as they grow. Fairy ring mushrooms create perfect circles in meadows and lawns, expanding outward year after year as their underground network grows. These rings can persist for decades, slowly enlarging as the fungal colony spreads through the soil. Other mushrooms grow in elegant spirals, following mathematical patterns that seem almost too perfect to occur naturally. Bracket fungi on tree trunks often form concentric semicircles, like nature's own growth rings marking the passage of seasons. These patterns aren't planned or designed in any conscious way, but emerge naturally from the fungi's growth processes and their response to environmental conditions. There's something deeply satisfying about discovering these geometric arrangements in the wild, like finding hidden mathematical truths written in living tissue. They remind us that beauty and order can arise naturally from simple processes, without the need for conscious design or artificial intervention. Fungi can survive in outer space. In one of the most remarkable tests of biological resilience, scientists have discovered that some fungi can survive the harsh conditions of space itself. Exposed to deadly radiation, extreme temperature fluctuations, and the vacuum of space, certain mushroom species not only survived but actually seemed to thrive. Some even showed increased growth when exposed to radiation levels that would be lethal to most other forms of life. These space-hardy fungi suggest that life might be more resilient and adaptable than we ever imagined. They raise the intriguing possibility that fungi might be able to travel between planets, perhaps even between star systems, carried on meteors or spacecraft. This cosmic resilience speaks to the fundamental toughness hidden within these seemingly delicate organisms. While they appear soft and fragile, they possess an inner strength that allows them to endure conditions that would destroy most other life forms. It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and that the gentlest organisms sometimes harbor the greatest reserves of quiet strength. The underground fungal networks operate like a biological internet connecting entire forests. These mycelial threads, finer than the thinnest human hair, weave through soil and around root systems, creating communication pathways that span vast distances. Through these networks, trees can share not just nutrients, but information about weather patterns, seasonal changes, and environmental threats. A mother tree can nurture her offspring through difficult seasons by sending them extra sugars and minerals through the fungal connections. When drought threatens one area of the forest, trees in wetter locations can help support their stressed neighbors by sharing water and nutrients through the mycelial web. This sharing happens without any central coordination, emerging naturally from the simple interactions between fungi and plant roots. The network operates continuously, day and night, season after season, maintaining the delicate balance that keeps forest ecosystems healthy and resilient. Scientists have discovered that forests with intact fungal networks are more resistant to disease, drought, and other environmental stresses. It's as if the fungi provide a form of biological insurance, helping the entire forest community weather difficulties together rather than facing them alone. Mushrooms can break down some of the toughest materials on Earth. While they appear soft and delicate, fungi possess remarkable abilities to decompose even the most resistant organic compounds. They can break down lignin, the tough substance that gives wood its strength and makes it so difficult for most organisms to digest. They can process cellulose from plant cell walls, chitin from insect exoskeletons, and even synthetic materials like plastics under the right conditions. This decomposition happens through the release of powerful enzymes that work like molecular scissors, cutting complex molecules into simpler components that can be absorbed and used. The process is gentle and gradual, taking place over weeks, months, or even years, depending on the material and environmental conditions. Unlike harsh chemical or industrial processes, fungal decomposition happens at nature's own pace, without generating heat, noise, or toxic byproducts. The broken down materials become part of the soil's nutrient cycle, eventually supporting new growth throughout the ecosystem. This patient transformation of the old into the new represents one of nature's most elegant recycling systems. Some fungi form partnerships with the roots of nearly every plant on Earth. These relationships, called mycorrhizal associations, represent one of the most successful partnerships in the natural world. The fungal threads extend the reach of plant roots, sometimes increasing their absorptive surface area by hundreds of times. In return, plants provide the fungi with sugars and other compounds produced through photosynthesis. This ancient alliance has been refined over millions of years into a system of remarkable efficiency and mutual benefit. The fungi help plants access water and nutrients from soil that their roots could never reach alone, while the plants provide the fungi with the energy they need to grow and reproduce. These partnerships are so fundamental to plant health that many species cannot survive without their fungal allies. Trees in old-growth forests often depend on complex networks of multiple fungal species, each providing different benefits and services. The relationships are not rigid contracts, but flexible arrangements that can adapt to changing conditions, with both partners contributing what they can and taking what they need. Mushrooms have been used as natural dyes for thousands of years. Long before synthetic colors were invented, people discovered that certain mushrooms could produce beautiful, lasting dyes for textiles and other materials. The colors range from soft yellows and warm oranges to deep purples and rich browns, each mushroom species offering its own unique palette. These natural dyes don't require harsh chemicals or high temperatures to set. Instead, bonding gently with natural fibers through simple, traditional processes. The colors tend to be subtle and nuanced, with variations and depth that synthetic dyes often cannot replicate. Many of these fungal dyes also have natural antimicrobial properties, helping to preserve the fabrics they color. Traditional dye makers knew which mushrooms to harvest and when to collect them for the best color yield, knowledge passed down through generations of artisans. The process of extracting dye from mushrooms is meditative and unhurried, involving slow simmering and patient waiting for the colors to emerge. Even today, some textile artists prefer these natural fungal dyes for their unique beauty and the gentle, sustainable process of their creation. Fungi can live in symbiosis with algae to create entirely new organisms. Lichens, those crusty, leafy, or shrubby growths found on rocks, trees, and soil, are actually composite organisms made up of fungi, living in partnership with algae or cyanobacteria. The fungal partner provides structure and protection, while the photosynthetic partner produces food from sunlight. Together, they create something that neither could achieve alone, an organism that can survive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Lichens can grow on bare rock faces, in Arctic tundra, and in desert conditions where few other organisms can survive. They grow extremely slowly, sometimes adding only millimeters per year, but they can live for centuries or even millennia. Some lichen colonies in the Arctic are estimated to be over 4,000 years old, making them among the oldest living organisms on our planet. This partnership between fungi and photosynthetic organisms represents one of evolution's most elegant solutions to the challenge of surviving in difficult environments. The two partners have become so integrated that they function as a single organism, each contributing essential capabilities to their shared survival. Certain mushrooms can produce natural antibiotics more powerful than penicillin. The discovery of penicillin from bread mold revolutionized medicine, but it was just the beginning of our understanding of fungi's pharmaceutical potential. Many mushroom species produce compounds that can fight bacterial infections, viral diseases, and even certain types of cancer. These natural medicines are often complex molecules that work in sophisticated ways, targeting specific biological processes while minimizing harmful side effects. Traditional healers around the world have long recognized the medicinal properties of various fungi, using them to treat everything from respiratory ailments to digestive disorders. Modern research is revealing the scientific basis for many of these traditional uses, while also discovering entirely new therapeutic compounds hidden within fungal tissues. The development of these natural medicines happens slowly and carefully, with researchers working to understand not just what works, but how and why it works. Unlike synthetic drugs that are designed in laboratories, these fungal medicines evolved over millions of years, refined by natural selection into precisely targeted therapeutic tools. Mushrooms can help plants communicate distress signals across great distances. When a tree is attacked by insects or infected by disease, it can send chemical alarm signals through the fungal network to warn other plants in the area. These distress signals travel through the mycelial threads much faster than they could move through air or water, allowing distant plants to begin preparing their defenses before the threat reaches them. The warned plants might start producing compounds that make them less palatable to insects, or they might begin strengthening their cell walls against potential fungal infections. This early warning system can help prevent the spread of diseases and pest outbreaks throughout forest communities. The fungi that carry these messages don't just passively transmit the signals, but can also modify and amplify them, ensuring that the most important information reaches the plants that need it most. This communication network operates continuously in the background of forest life, like a biological early warning system that helps maintain the health and stability of entire ecosystems. The messages travel silently and invisibly, but their effects can be seen in the improved survival rates of plants that are part of well-connected fungal networks. Some fungi can manipulate the behavior of insects with remarkable precision. Certain species of fungi have evolved the ability to infect insects and gradually take control of their behavior, guiding them to locations that are optimal for the fungus to reproduce. The infected insect might be compelled to climb to a high branch or move to an area with perfect humidity levels for spore dispersal. This control is achieved through the production of specific chemicals that affect the insect's nervous system. But the process is gradual and doesn't appear to cause the insect distress. The fungus essentially reprograms the insect's behavior while keeping it alive and healthy until the optimal moment for spore release. This sophisticated biological control represents millions of years of evolutionary refinement, resulting in a system of remarkable precision and effectiveness. While it might sound sinister, it's actually just another example of the complex relationships that exist throughout nature, where different organisms have evolved intricate ways of ensuring their survival and reproduction. The fungi don't act out of malice, but simply follow their biological programming. Much like flowers produce nectar to attract pollinators, mushrooms can form fairy rings that expand for centuries. These mysterious circles of mushrooms that appear in grasslands and forests are actually the visible signs of underground fungal colonies that grow outward from a central point year after year. As the fungi exhaust nutrients in the center of their territory, they continue growing outward, forming an ever-expanding ring. Some fairy rings are centuries old, slowly enlarging by a few inches each year as the fungal network spreads through the soil. The mushrooms that appear along the edge of these rings are just the fruiting bodies of the vast underground organism, like flowers on a plant that extends far beneath the surface. These rings can grow to enormous sizes, with some reaching hundreds of feet in diameter, representing fungal organisms that may weigh several tons. The slow, steady expansion of fairy rings creates a kind of biological clock, marking the passage of time in the landscape. Local folklore often attributes these rings to dancing fairies or supernatural activities, but their true origin is perhaps even more magical. The patient work of ancient organisms that have been slowly expanding their territory for longer than many human civilizations have existed. Fungi can sense light, even though they have no eyes. While mushrooms spend most of their lives in darkness, many species can detect and respond to light in surprisingly sophisticated ways. They don't see in the way we understand vision, but they possess light-sensitive proteins that allow them to know when they're approaching the surface or when conditions are right for releasing spores. Some mushrooms will bend and grow toward light sources, while others time their spore release to coincide with optimal lighting conditions that will help their offspring disperse effectively. This light sensitivity developed over millions of years, allowing fungi to make precise decisions about when and where to emerge from their hidden underground world. The response to light is gentle and gradual, not the quick reflexes we might expect, but a slow, considered reaction that unfolds over hours or days. There's something beautiful about these eyeless organisms navigating their world through subtle environmental cues, reading the language of light filtering through soil and leaf litter to time their emergence perfectly. Some mushrooms can live entirely on air and water. While most fungi need to break down organic matter for nutrition, a few remarkable species have developed the ability to capture nutrients directly from the atmosphere. These aerial fungi can absorb nitrogen, carbon, and other essential elements from humidity and airborne particles, allowing them to survive in environments where traditional food sources are scarce. They grow slowly and deliberately, taking what they need from the moisture-laden air around them. This minimal lifestyle demonstrates nature's incredible efficiency, showing how life can persist and even thrive while consuming almost nothing. These atmospheric feeders often appear in the most unexpected places, sprouting from seemingly sterile surfaces where no other life can gain a foothold. Their ability to live on air reminds us that abundance isn't always about having more, but about using less and finding sustenance in the simplest elements of existence. Mushrooms help forests recover from disasters. After wildfires, floods, or other natural catastrophes devastate forest ecosystems, fungi are often among the first organisms to begin the recovery process. Their spores can travel great distances on wind currents, arriving in damaged areas to start the slow work of restoration. They begin by stabilizing soil that might otherwise wash away, their thread-like networks holding particles together and preventing erosion. As they grow, they create the conditions necessary for other organisms to return, breaking down debris and creating nutrients that will support new plant growth. This restoration work happens quietly over months and years, with fungi serving as nature's first responders and long-term rehabilitation specialists. They don't rush the healing process, but allow it to unfold naturally, creating stable foundations for the forest community to rebuild itself. Their patient work often goes unnoticed until suddenly, years later, a thriving ecosystem emerges from what once seemed like barren devastation. Some fungi can predict weather changes. Long before meteorologists existed, fungi were reading atmospheric conditions and adjusting their behavior accordingly. Many mushroom species can sense subtle changes in barometric pressure, humidity, and temperature that signal approaching weather systems. They might delay spore release when storms are coming, or accelerate their fruiting when conditions are about to become optimal. This weather sensitivity allows them to time their reproductive cycles with remarkable precision, ensuring their spores are released when wind and moisture conditions will give them the best chance of successful dispersal. Traditional weather watchers have long observed fungal behavior as one indicator of changing conditions, noting how certain species emerge or retreat in response to atmospheric shifts. These natural weather stations operate continuously throughout the forest, providing a distributed network of biological sensors that have been tracking climate patterns for millions of years. Mushrooms can create their own microclimates. In the space immediately around a mushroom, conditions can be significantly different from the surrounding environment. The fungal networks can moderate soil temperature, maintain higher humidity levels, and even influence local air circulation patterns. Large fungi growing on tree trunks can create cool, moist pockets that provide habitat for other small organisms. These biological air conditioners work through the simple process of transpiration, releasing water vapor that cools and humidifies their immediate surroundings. The effect is gentle but measurable, creating small oases of favorable conditions that can support entire communities of microscopic life. These fungal microclimates often persist long after the visible mushrooms have disappeared, maintained by the ongoing activity of the underground networks. It's another example of how fungi quietly engineer their environment, making subtle adjustments that benefit not just themselves, but the whole community of organisms sharing their space. Some mushrooms glow brighter when they're happy. The bioluminescent mushrooms that create their own light don't shine with constant intensity. Their glow varies depending on their health, age, and environmental conditions. Well-nourished fungi in optimal growing conditions tend to produce brighter, more sustained light than those struggling with poor nutrition or stressful conditions. Young, actively growing mushrooms often glow more intensely than older specimens, and the light may pulse or fluctuate in rhythm with their metabolic processes. This variable luminescence means that a walk through a forest of glowing fungi might reveal different intensities and patterns of light, like a natural light show that changes based on the well-being of its performers. Scientists are still studying exactly what controls this bioluminescent intensity, but the correlation between fungal health and brightness suggests that these organisms literally shine when they're thriving. Fungi have been making wine and bread for thousands of years. Yeasts, which are microscopic fungi, have been humanity's partners in fermentation long before we understood what they were or how they worked. These tiny organisms transform simple sugars into alcohol and carbon dioxide through their natural metabolic processes, creating the wine, beer, and leavened bread that have nourished human cultures for millennia. The relationship between humans and fermentation fungi represents one of our oldest biotechnology partnerships, based on mutual benefit and gentle transformation rather than dominance or exploitation. The yeasts ask for nothing more than sugar and warmth, offering in return the magic of fermentation that can preserve foods, create new flavors, and even provide safe alternatives to contaminated water. This ancient collaboration continues today in kitchens and breweries around the world, a reminder of how some of our most essential technologies emerged from patient observation of natural processes. Some mushrooms can remember where they've been. While fungi don't have brains or nervous systems, their growth patterns suggest a form of biological memory that allows them to avoid areas they've already explored and focus their energy on new territories. Fungal networks can somehow track which pathways they've established and which areas they've depleted of nutrients, directing new growth toward unexplored regions. This navigation system appears to work through chemical markers and growth patterns that persist in the network structure, creating a kind of biological map of the surrounding environment. The memory isn't conscious in the way we understand it, but rather a sophisticated biological programming that allows fungi to make efficient decisions about where to expand their networks. This fungal memory can persist for years, helping established networks avoid wasting energy on areas that won't provide adequate resources. Mushrooms can grow in perfect mathematical spirals. The arrangement of spores on mushroom caps, the branching patterns of fungal networks, and even the growth patterns of fairy rings often follow precise mathematical relationships found throughout nature. These patterns emerge naturally from the fungi's growth processes, creating spirals that match the golden ratio, branching angles that optimize efficiency, and symmetries that seem almost too perfect to be accidental. The mathematics isn't planned or designed, but arises spontaneously from the fungi's biological programming and their response to environmental constraints. These natural geometries can be found at every scale, from the microscopic arrangement of spores to the landscape-level patterns of fungal colonies. There's something deeply satisfying about discovering these mathematical relationships in living organisms, as if nature is revealing fundamental truths about order and beauty through the simple growth of mushrooms. Some fungi can digest plastic and help clean up human waste. Researchers have discovered several mushroom species that can break down various types of plastic polymers, offering hope for addressing one of our most persistent environmental problems. These plastic-eating fungi work slowly and steadily, using enzymes to break chemical bonds that were designed to be permanent. The process isn't fast by human standards, but it represents a natural solution to a problem that seemed impossible to solve. Some species can even thrive on plastic as their primary food source, growing healthy and producing normal fruiting bodies while consuming materials that would otherwise persist in the environment for centuries. This remarkable ability suggests that nature may already contain solutions to many of the environmental challenges we face, waiting to be discovered and understood. The fungi don't judge or reject our artificial materials, but simply adapt their ancient decomposition abilities to work with whatever organic compounds they encounter. Mushrooms communicate through electrical signals. Recent research has revealed that fungal networks can conduct electrical impulses through their mycelial threads, much like nerve signals in animals. These electrical messages can travel through the network at speeds that suggest active communication rather than passive chemical diffusion. The signals appear to carry information about environmental conditions, resource availability, and potential threats, allowing different parts of the network to coordinate their responses. The electrical activity increases when the fungi are actively growing or responding to stimuli, suggesting that these signals play an important role in network coordination. While we don't yet understand the full complexity of this fungal electrical communication, adds another layer to our appreciation of the sophisticated information processing that happens beneath our feet. The forest floor may be alive with the constant chatter of electrical signals, a biological internet operating just below the threshold of human perception. Some mushrooms can survive being completely dried out and come back to life. Many fungal species can enter a state of cryptobiosis, essentially pausing all biological activity when water becomes unavailable. In this dried state, they can remain viable for months or even years, waiting patiently for moisture to return. When water becomes available again, these resurrection fungi quickly resume normal growth and reproduction as if no time had passed. This ability to survive complete dehydration allows fungi to persist through extreme drought conditions and to colonize environments with unpredictable water supplies. The process requires sophisticated cellular mechanisms to prevent damage during drying and to coordinate the resumption of activity when conditions improve. Some species can cycle through this drying and rehydration process repeatedly without any apparent harm, making them incredibly resilient survivors in uncertain environments. Fungi help create the oxygen we breathe through their partnerships with plants. While fungi themselves don't photosynthesize, their mycorrhizal partnerships with plants significantly increase the efficiency of photosynthesis and plant growth. By expanding root systems and improving nutrient uptake, fungi enable plants to grow larger and healthier, producing more oxygen as a byproduct of their enhanced photosynthesis. Some estimates suggest that mycorrhizal partnerships increase plant productivity by up to 30%, meaning that a significant portion of the oxygen in our atmosphere exists because of fungal assistance. This indirect but crucial contribution to oxygen production has been happening for hundreds of millions of years, since the first plants established partnerships with fungi. Every breath we take contains oxygen that was produced with the help of the sequoiate underground partners, making fungi essential contributors to the atmospheric conditions that support complex life on Earth. Some mushrooms can change their shape and structure as they grow. Unlike plants that maintain relatively fixed forms, many fungi can dramatically alter their appearance and structure in response to environmental conditions. A mushroom that begins as a simple rounded cap might develop elaborate gills, pores, or spines as it matures. Or it might remain smooth and featureless if conditions aren't quite right. Some species can switch between different growth forms entirely, producing thread-like networks in some conditions and compact mushroom-like structures in others. This morphological flexibility allows fungi to optimize their form for current conditions, maximizing their efficiency in spore production and dispersal. The shape-shifting happens gradually and purposefully, not randomly, as the organism responds to chemical signals and environmental cues that guide its development along different pathways. Mushrooms can live in some of the most extreme environments on Earth, from the scorching heat of desert soils to the freezing temperatures of Arctic tundra. Fungi have found ways to survive and even thrive in conditions that would kill most other organisms. Some species live in highly acidic environments, others in extremely alkaline conditions. Deep-sea fungi survive crushing pressures and total darkness, while high-altitude species endure intense radiation and temperature extremes. These extremophile fungi often grow very slowly, conserving energy and taking advantage of whatever minimal resources are available in their harsh environments. Their ability to survive in such challenging conditions suggests that life may be possible in places we never thought could support it, both on Earth and potentially on other planets. These hardy organisms expand our understanding of life's limits and demonstrate the remarkable adaptability that has allowed fungi to colonize virtually every environment on our planet. Fungi can sense and respond to music and vibrations in the soil. Recent studies have revealed that mushrooms and their underground networks can detect sound waves and vibrations traveling through the earth. When music is played near growing fungi, some species show measurable changes in their growth patterns and electrical activity. Classical music seems to encourage more robust growth in certain varieties, while other frequencies can slow or alter their development. This sensitivity to vibration makes sense when you consider that fungi live in a world of subtle soil movements, root growth, and the footsteps of animals above. They've evolved to read these mechanical signals as sources of information about their environment. The response isn't immediate like a plant turning toward light, but unfolds over days and weeks as the fungal network processes these acoustic inputs. It's as if the forest floor has been listening to the world's music all along, with fungi serving as nature's underground audience, quietly responding to the rhythms and harmonies that flow through their domain. Some mushrooms can predict earthquakes and other geological events. Deep underground, fungal networks exist in intimate contact with soil layers, rock formations, and groundwater systems that shift and change in response to geological activity. Many fungi appear to be sensitive to these subtle movements, altering their growth patterns or fruiting behavior in the days or weeks before significant seismic events. Traditional cultures in earthquake-prone regions have long observed these fungal warning signs, noting when certain mushroom species appear or disappear unexpectedly. The fungi aren't consciously predicting earthquakes, but their extensive underground presence makes them natural seismographs, detecting tiny changes in soil pressure, chemistry, and stability that precede larger geological shifts. This geological sensitivity extends to other Earth movements as well: landslides, volcanic activity, and even seasonal changes in groundwater levels. Their predictions aren't always accurate in human terms, but they represent another way that fungi serve as biological monitors of environmental conditions we can barely perceive. Mushrooms can form alliances with specific bacteria to enhance their abilities. While we often think of fungi as solitary organisms, many species maintain close partnerships with beneficial bacteria that live within their tissues or along their hyphal threads. These bacterial allies can provide fungi with additional enzymes for breaking down tough materials, help them resist diseases, or even enable them to access nutrients they couldn't obtain alone. Some fungal-bacterial partnerships are so intimate that neither organism can survive without the other, forming composite beings that blur the lines between different forms of life. The bacteria might produce antibiotics that protect the fungus from harmful microorganisms, while the fungus provides the bacteria with shelter and nutrients. These alliances can be highly specific, with certain fungal species partnering exclusively with particular bacterial strains that complement their biological capabilities perfectly. The relationships often develop over long periods, with both partners gradually adapting to work more efficiently together. Some fungi can create natural pharmaceuticals in response to environmental threats. When attacked by harmful bacteria or viruses, many mushroom species can rapidly synthesize complex medicinal compounds that serve as their immune system. These naturally produced pharmaceuticals are often highly sophisticated molecules that target specific biological processes in their attackers, while leaving beneficial organisms unharmed. The production of these compounds isn't constant, but increases dramatically when the fungus detects threats in its environment. Some species can produce dozens of different medicinal compounds, switching between them based on what type of challenge they're facing. This pharmaceutical flexibility means that a single mushroom species might contain the raw materials for treating multiple human ailments, from infections to inflammatory conditions. The compounds are produced fresh as needed, maintaining their potency and effectiveness in ways that stored medicines often cannot match. Mushrooms can help plants survive in polluted environments. In areas contaminated with heavy metals, industrial chemicals, or other toxins, fungi often serve as protective partners for plants that would otherwise struggle to survive. The fungal network can absorb and neutralize many harmful substances before they reach plant roots, essentially filtering the soil environment. Some fungi can even transform toxic compounds into less harmful forms, breaking them down through their natural metabolic processes. This protective relationship allows plants to grow in recovering industrial sites, contaminated urban areas, and other challenging environments where they might not survive alone. The fungi don't just tolerate pollution, but actively work to remediate it, slowly cleaning the soil while supporting plant communities that help stabilize and restore damaged ecosystems. Their patient work often goes unnoticed, but over time it can transform polluted wastelands back into thriving natural areas. Some mushrooms can alter the pH of soil to create optimal growing conditions. Fungi are sophisticated soil chemists, able to adjust the acidity or alkalinity of their immediate environment to suit their needs and those of their plant partners. Through the controlled release of organic acids or alkaline compounds, they can create pockets of soil with precisely the right chemical conditions for optimal nutrient absorption. This pH manipulation happens gradually over months or years, as the fungal network slowly modifies the chemistry of the soil it inhabits. Different fungal species prefer different pH ranges, and some can create complex gradients of soil chemistry that support diverse communities of plants and microorganisms. The ability to engineer soil chemistry gives fungi tremendous influence over which plants can thrive in any given location, making them powerful architects of plant community composition. Their chemical modifications often persist long after the fungi themselves have moved on, leaving behind improved soil conditions for future generations of plants and fungi. Fungi can survive on the International Space Station. In controlled experiments aboard the International Space Station, several mushroom species have demonstrated their ability to grow and reproduce in the microgravity environment of orbital space. The fungi adapt to weightlessness by altering their growth patterns, with some species producing more compact, densely branched structures than they would on Earth. These space-dwelling fungi maintain their ability to form partnerships with plant roots, suggesting that fungal plant agriculture might be possible in future space colonies. The lack of gravity doesn't seem to interfere with their basic biological processes, though it does change how they orient their growth and distribute their nutrients. Some species even show enhanced resistance to radiation when grown in space conditions, possibly because the stress of the unusual environment activates their natural DNA repair mechanisms. Some mushrooms can generate small electrical currents strong enough to power LED lights. The electrical activity in fungal networks isn't just for communication, it can also be harvested as a renewable energy source. Researchers have successfully used living fungi to power small electronic devices, taking advantage of the natural electrical processes that occur during fungal metabolism and growth. The current generated is modest but consistent, flowing continuously as long as the fungi remain healthy and active. This bioelectrical generation happens without harming the organisms, making it a truly sustainable form of energy production. The electricity comes from the movement of ions through the fungal tissues and the electrochemical processes involved in nutrient absorption and transport. While we're still far from fungal power plants, this discovery opens intriguing possibilities for small-scale biological energy systems that could operate in remote locations or extreme environments where traditional power sources aren't practical. Mushrooms can form temporary alliances with insects for mutual benefit. While some fungi control insect behavior for reproductive purposes, Others form more cooperative relationships where both partners benefit from the arrangement. Certain mushroom species provide insects with shelter, food, or protection from predators in exchange for help with spore dispersal or protection from other threats. These partnerships can be surprisingly sophisticated, with both parties seeming to recognize and respond to each other's needs. Some insects actually cultivate specific fungal species, tending them like farmers tend crops, while the fungi provide the insects with nutrition and building materials for their nests. These relationships often develop over multiple generations, with both the insects and fungi adapting to work more effectively together over time. The partnerships demonstrate the complex social networks that exist in forest ecosystems, where cooperation and mutual benefit often prove more successful than competition. Some fungi can remain dormant for decades and then spring back to life. In the deepest layers of soil and sediment, fungal spores can enter states of suspended animation that allow them to survive for extraordinary periods without any detectable biological activity. When conditions finally become favorable again, these ancient spores can germinate and produce healthy, vigorous fungi as if no time had passed at all. This extreme longevity allows fungi to survive through ice ages, major climate shifts, and other environmental catastrophes that eliminate most other forms of life from an area. The dormant spores essentially serve as biological time capsules, preserving genetic diversity and ecological potential through periods when active life isn't possible. Some researchers have successfully germinated fungal spores that were thousands of years old, recovered from deep archaeological sites, or frozen in permafrost. This remarkable longevity suggests that fungal diversity in any location may be far greater than what we can observe at any given time, with countless dormant species waiting for the right moment to emerge. Mushrooms can create natural dyes that change color with temperature. Some mushroom species produce pigments that are thermochromic, meaning they shift their color in response to temperature changes. These natural dyes can be extracted and used to create fabrics or materials that change appearance as the temperature fluctuates around them. The color changes are gradual and reversible, creating subtle shifts in hue that reflect the thermal environment. This temperature sensitivity evolved as a way for fungi to monitor environmental conditions and adjust their metabolism accordingly. The pigments that create these effects are complex organic molecules that change their molecular structure slightly as temperatures rise and fall, altering how they absorb and reflect light. Traditional textile artists in some cultures discovered these properties centuries ago, creating garments that would subtly shift color with the seasons or the wearer's body temperature. The dyes work best with natural fibers and create colors that have a depth and complexity that synthetic thermochromic materials often lack. Some fungi can live entirely within the tissues of plants without causing any harm. These endophytic fungi take up residence inside leaves, stems, and roots, forming relationships that can last for the entire life of the host plant. Rather than acting as parasites, many of these internal fungi provide their hosts with benefits like enhanced disease resistance, improved stress tolerance, or better nutrient uptake. The fungi live quietly within the plant tissues, usually undetectable without microscopic examination, growing slowly and reproducing at rates that don't interfere with normal plant function. Some endophytic fungi produce compounds that make their host plants less attractive to herbivorous insects, while others help plants survive drought or other environmental stresses. The relationship is so subtle and well-balanced that the plant often grows better with its fungal residents than it would without them. These internal partnerships represent some of the most intimate forms of cooperation in nature, where two very different organisms share the same living space in perfect harmony. Mushrooms can help forests communicate across species barriers. The fungal networks that connect individual trees don't discriminate based on plant species, often linking trees of different types in complex interspecies communication networks. A Douglas fir might share resources with a nearby birch tree through their common fungal partners, or an oak tree might send warning signals to pine trees when danger threatens. This cross-species communication helps create more resilient and diverse forest communities, where different types of plants can support each other through difficult periods. The fungi facilitate these exchanges without favoring any particular plant species, acting more like neutral mediators that help maintain balance and cooperation throughout the forest ecosystem. These interspecies networks can be incredibly complex, involving dozens of different plant and fungal species, all connected through underground partnerships. The result is forest communities that function more like superorganisms than collections of individual plants, with resources and information flowing freely across species boundaries to benefit the entire ecosystem. Some mushrooms produce natural fragrances that can influence human mood and well-being. Certain forest fungi release volatile organic compounds that have measurable effects on human brain chemistry when inhaled. These natural aromatherapy compounds can promote relaxation, reduce stress hormones, and even enhance cognitive function in people who spend time in fungal-rich environments. The fragrances are subtle and complex, often described as earthy, woody, or fresh, and they seem to trigger positive psychological responses that have been shaped by millions of years of human evolution in forest environments. Some researchers believe that our positive emotional responses to forest smells are partially due to these fungal aromatics, which may have signaled healthy, resource-rich environments to our ancestors. The mood-enhancing effects aren't just psychological, but involve measurable changes in neurotransmitter levels and stress hormone production. This suggests that the simple act of walking through a mushroom-rich forest can provide genuine therapeutic benefits, with fungi serving as natural mood regulators for anyone who takes the time to breathe deeply in their presence. Fungi can create underground highways that connect forests across continents. The mycelial networks that link trees in a single forest don't stop at arbitrary boundaries like rivers or clearings. Scientists have discovered that these fungal connections can extend for hundreds of miles, creating continent-spanning webs that link distant forests in ways we're only beginning to understand. These vast networks operate like biological highways, allowing the exchange of nutrients, information, and genetic material between forest communities that may be separated by great distances. The connections are maintained by fungal species that can slowly extend their reach across landscapes over decades or centuries, following river valleys, mountain ridges, and other natural corridors. Through these extended networks, a forest recovering from wildfire might receive support from healthy forests hundreds of miles away. Or genetic diversity might flow between isolated plant populations that would otherwise be cut off from each other. The scale of these connections suggests that we should think of forests not as separate ecosystems, but as parts of vast, interconnected biological networks that operate on continental scales. Some mushrooms can live backwards through time by reversing their aging process. While most organisms age progressively from birth to death, certain fungal species have developed the remarkable ability to reverse their aging process when environmental conditions become unfavorable. These time-reversing fungi can literally grow younger, breaking down their complex structures and returning to simpler, more resilient forms that can better survive difficult periods. The process isn't instantaneous, but unfolds over weeks or months as the organism systematically dismantles its more vulnerable features and rebuilds itself in a more primitive but hardier form. When conditions improve, the fungus can resume its normal aging process, growing more complex again until it reaches maturity. This biological time travel allows these species to effectively reset their life clocks whenever necessary, potentially extending their lifespans indefinitely. The ability seems to be triggered by stress signals that indicate the current form isn't well suited to existing conditions, prompting the organism to retreat to an earlier, more adaptable stage of development. Mushrooms can create natural building materials stronger than concrete. Some fungal species produce structural compounds that rival or exceed the strength and durability of human-made construction materials. These biological building blocks grow naturally as the fungi develop, creating lightweight yet incredibly strong matrices that can support enormous weights while remaining flexible enough to absorb impacts without breaking. The materials are produced at normal temperatures using only the resources available in soil and organic matter, making them far more energy efficient to create than synthetic alternatives. Researchers are studying how to harness these natural construction abilities, growing fungal materials into specific shapes and densities for use in architecture and engineering. The resulting biomaterials are completely biodegradable when their useful life is over, breaking down harmlessly into soil nutrients rather than persisting as waste. Some experimental buildings have already been constructed using fungal materials, demonstrating that these biological construction systems could provide sustainable alternatives to resource-intensive manufacturing processes. Some fungi can read the genetic code of other organisms and incorporate useful genes into their own DNA. These genetic readers have evolved sophisticated mechanisms for detecting, analyzing, and adopting beneficial traits from the plants, bacteria, and other fungi they encounter in their environment. When a fungus identifies a useful genetic sequence in another organism, it can sometimes integrate that DNA into its own genome, gaining new abilities without having to evolve them from scratch. This horizontal gene transfer allows fungi to adapt much more quickly to changing conditions than would be possible through normal evolutionary processes alone. The borrowed genes might provide resistance to new diseases, the ability to digest different types of organic matter, or enhanced tolerance to environmental stresses. The process happens gradually and selectively, with the fungus testing new genetic additions to ensure they integrate properly with its existing biological systems. This genetic flexibility helps explain why fungi are so successful at colonizing new environments and adapting to human-altered landscapes. Mushrooms can serve as living libraries that preserve ecological memory for entire ecosystems. The long-lived fungal networks that connect forest communities don't just facilitate current exchanges of resources and information. They also maintain detailed biological records of past environmental conditions, species interactions, and ecological events. These living archives store information about historical climate patterns, disease outbreaks, and other significant events in the molecular structure of their tissues and the connections they maintain. When environmental conditions change, fungi can access this stored information to guide their responses, essentially consulting their biological memory banks to determine the best strategies for helping their ecosystem partners survive. The ecological memory extends across generations, with older fungi passing information to younger networks through their physical connections and chemical communications. This means that a forest's response to current challenges may be informed by experiences that occurred decades or even centuries ago, preserved in the patient memory of its fungal inhabitants. Some fungi can transform into completely different organisms when they encounter specific chemical signals. These shape-shifting species maintain multiple genetic programs within their DNA, each corresponding to a different possible life form they might need to adopt. When they detect particular chemical signatures in their environment, they can activate dormant genetic sequences and literally transform their basic biology, changing from one type of organism into something entirely different. A fungus might shift from a decomposer that breaks down dead organic matter to a symbiotic partner that supports living plants, or from a terrestrial form to an aquatic one when water levels change. These transformations aren't superficial changes in appearance, but fundamental alterations in metabolism, reproduction, and ecological function. The ability to switch between different biological identities allows these fungi to occupy multiple ecological niches and respond to environmental changes in ways that would be impossible for more rigidly structured organisms. Mushrooms can create temporal bridges that allow them to communicate with their past and future selves. Through chemical markers deposited in soil and organic matter, fungi can leave messages for their future growth phases, essentially communicating across time with different versions of themselves. These temporal messages might contain information about resource locations, environmental hazards, or successful growth strategies that proved effective in the past. When a fungal network encounters these chemical time capsules, it can decode the information and adjust its current behavior based on historical experience. The system works in reverse as well, with fungi able to detect and respond to chemical signals left by their earlier growth phases, creating a form of biological time travel co-immunication. This temporal messaging allows fungal networks to build upon their past experiences and make more informed decisions about future growth directions, essentially learning from their own history in ways that transcend normal biological memory. Some fungi can generate protective force fields around their host plants, using electromagnetic energy. These guardian fungi create subtle electromagnetic barriers that interfere with the navigation systems of harmful insects and other pests, making it difficult for threats to locate and attack their plant partners. The electromagnetic fields are generated through specialized cellular structures that can manipulate electrical currents and magnetic fields at the molecular level. The protective barriers are invisible to human senses, but create distinct electromagnetic signatures that can confuse or repel organisms that might harm the plants the fungi are protecting. This biological force field technology operates continuously, but at very low energy levels, powered by the normal metabolic processes of the fungal network. The electromagnetic protection is most effective against small insects and microorganisms that rely on electromagnetic cues for navigation, creating a kind of biological stealth technology that helps plants remain hidden from their natural enemies. Mushrooms can create weather by influencing atmospheric conditions on a regional scale. Large fungal networks release vast quantities of moisture, organic compounds, and microscopic particles into the atmosphere, significantly affecting local and regional weather patterns. The spores and other particles released by fungi serve as nucleation sites for water droplets, influencing cloud formation and precipitation patterns across wide areas. Some regions experience measurable changes in rainfall, humidity, and temperature that correlate directly with the seasonal activity of major fungal networks. The weather-making abilities of fungi become especially apparent in large forests, where the combined activity of millions of fungal organisms can generate their own atmospheric systems. These biological weather patterns often create microclimates that are more stable and favorable for plant growth than the surrounding regional climate, essentially allowing fungi to engineer optimal conditions for their ecosystem partners. Some fungi can phase shift between different dimensions of space, allowing them to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. These quantum fungi exploit principles of quantum mechanics that allow particles to exist in multiple states or locations at once, scaling up these microscopic phenomena to operate at the level of entire organisms. A single fungal individual might maintain simultaneous presence in several different soil locations, or exist partially in underground networks, while also manifesting in above-ground fruiting bodies that appear to be separate organisms. This dimensional flexibility allows fungi to gather resources and information from multiple locations while maintaining unified consciousness and decision-making across all their manifestations. The phase-shifting ability seems to be triggered by specific environmental conditions that create quantum coherence in the fungal tissues, allowing them to exploit quantum effects that normally only occur at atomic scales. Mushrooms can create living sculptures that grow into predetermined artistic forms. Some fungal species possess an innate aesthetic sense that guides their growth into forms that follow principles of mathematical beauty and artistic harmony. These natural artists seem to understand concepts like proportion, symmetry, and visual balance, creating three-dimensional sculptures from their own living tissues that rival human artistic creations. The sculptural forms aren't random, but follow consistent artistic principles that suggest fungi have their own cultural traditions of beauty and form. Different fungal communities develop distinct artistic styles, with regional variations in sculptural preferences that are passed down through generations of fungal networks. The living sculptures serve functional purposes as well as aesthetic ones, often optimizing spore dispersal or resource collection, while creating forms that are beautiful to observe. The artistic growth patterns require precise coordination between different parts of the fungal network, suggesting sophisticated planning and communication abilities that extend into the realm of creative expression. Some fungi can manipulate the flow of time around themselves, creating temporal anomalies in their immediate vicinity. These time-bending species alter the rate at which physical and biological processes occur in their local environment, effectively speeding up or slowing down time within their sphere of influence. Plants growing near these temporal fungi might experience accelerated growth during favorable seasons or slowed aging during harsh conditions, as the fungi manipulate local time flow to optimize their partner's survival. The time manipulation appears to work through quantum effects that alter the fabric of space-time at microscopic scales, with the fungi somehow coordinating these quantum processes across their entire network. Areas under fungal temporal influence often show unusual patterns of decay, growth, and aging that don't match the expected rates for their environmental conditions. Mushrooms can create portals that allow instant communication between distant parts of their networks. These fungal portals operate like biological wormholes, allowing information and even small amounts of matter to travel instantaneously across vast distances through quantum entanglement between different parts of the network. A fungal network might maintain quantum-entangled connections that allow it to coordinate activities across continents without the normal delays associated with chemical or electrical signal transmission. The portals appear as subtle distortions in the fungal tissue that can open and close as needed, allowing the network to prioritize which connections receive instant communication access. The quantum communication system operates most efficiently during certain atmospheric conditions and may be influenced by solar activity and other cosmic phenomena that affect quantum coherence in biological systems. Some mushrooms can harvest energy directly from the quantum vacuum, drawing power from the fundamental fluctuations of empty space. These vacuum energy fungi tap into the zero-point energy that exists even in completely empty space, using quantum mechanical processes to extract usable energy from the constant fluctuations of virtual particles. This ability allows them to survive and even thrive in environments where no conventional energy sources are available, making them among the most energy-independent organisms on Earth. The quantum energy harvesting requires specialized cellular structures that can maintain quantum coherence at biological temperatures, allowing the fungi to interface directly with quantum field fluctuations. The harvested energy is converted into conventional biological energy through processes that bridge quantum and classical physics, providing these fungi with access to an essentially unlimited energy supply. Mushrooms can exist in a state of quantum superposition, allowing them to explore multiple possible futures simultaneously. These quantum-coherent fungi maintain multiple potential growth states simultaneously until environmental conditions force them to collapse into a single reality. While in superposition, they can test different growth strategies, partnership arrangements, and resource allocation patterns without committing to any particular path until they determine which approach offers the best outcomes. The quantum exploration of possible futures allows these fungi to make optimal decisions based on information about potential outcomes that wouldn't be available through conventional biological processes. The superposition state is maintained through quantum entanglement between different parts of the fungal network, creating a distributed quantum computer that can process multiple scenarios in parallel. Some fungi can communicate with the quantum consciousness that underlies all matter, accessing universal information networks that connect all life. These consciousness interfacing fungi serve as biological bridges between ordinary matter and the quantum information field that many theorists believe underlies physical reality. Through their connection to this universal consciousness, they can access information about distant events, future possibilities, and the deep patterns that govern natural systems. The communication appears to happen through quantum resonance effects that allow the fungi to tune into specific frequencies of the universal information field, much like a radio tuning into different broadcast channels. The information received through these quantum channels often manifests as enhanced intuitive knowledge about environmental conditions, optimal growth strategies, and the needs of other organisms in their ecosystem. And now, as these extraordinary secrets of the fungal world settle into your mind like gentle spores, finding their perfect place to rest, let your breathing deepen and your thoughts grow soft around the edges. We've wandered through hidden networks and quantum mysteries, discovered time-bending abilities and consciousness-connecting powers, all woven into the quiet lives of organisms that ask for nothing more than a bit of moisture and organic matter to work their gentle magic. These remarkable beings continue their patient work even now as you drift towards sleep, processing information through quantum channels we're only beginning to understand, manipulating time and space in ways that seem impossible yet happen naturally every day in forests around the world. They remind us that the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than our everyday experience suggests, full of possibilities and connections that exist just beyond the edges of ordinary perception. In this moment of quiet contemplation, you are part of their story too, breathing the oxygen they helped create, walking on soil they helped build, existing within the vast web of connections they maintain between all living things. Your own consciousness may be more connected to their quantum networks than you realize, participating in the great conversation that flows through all life on Earth. So let yourself rest now in the knowledge that you are held within these ancient networks of care and connection, supported by intelligence that operates beyond our normal understanding, cradled in the patient embrace of organisms that have been perfecting the art of gentle persistence for hundreds of millions of years. Even in sleep, you remain part of their vast, loving community, breathing with the rhythm of forests, dreaming with the wisdom of ages, held safely in the mycelial web that connects all things. Sleep well, knowing that somewhere in the darkness, fungi are quietly rewriting the rules of what we thought possible about life itself. The mushrooms growing in forests tonight carry within them capabilities that stretch our understanding of biology, physics, and consciousness to their very limits. They exist as living bridges between the world we know and realms of possibility we're only beginning to glimpse. As you rest, fungal networks spanning continents pulse with information traveling faster than light. Their quantum-entangled threads carrying messages across impossible distances in ways that would make our most advanced communication systems seem primitive by comparison. These ancient organisms have been experimenting with technologies we can barely imagine, developing biological solutions to problems we didn't even know existed. In the soil beneath sleeping forests, fungi continue their patient work of transformation, not just of dead matter into nutrients, but of reality itself into new forms and possibilities. They manipulate the fundamental forces of nature with the same gentle persistence they use to break down fallen leaves, bending space and time to serve the needs of their vast, interconnected communities. Some researchers now believe that these fungal networks may be components of a planetary intelligence, a biological internet that has been operating for millions of years, processing information and coordinating responses on a scale that encompasses entire ecosystems. The decisions made by forests, the timing of seasonal changes, the resilience of natural communities in the face of challenges, all may be influenced by the quiet calculations happening within these living networks. The implications stretch even further into realms that sound like science fiction, but may be biological fact. If fungi can indeed manipulate quantum fields and exist in multiple states simultaneously, they may represent a form of life that operates according to principles we haven't yet discovered. They could be natural quantum computers, processing vast amounts of information through parallel realities, always choosing the path that leads to the greatest flourishing of life. Their ability to communicate across time suggests that the forests we walk through today may be shaped by decisions made by fungi decades or centuries ago. Their growth patterns influenced by information passed down through generations of mycelial memory. The very landscape around us might be the product of long-term planning by organisms that think in geological timescales, patiently engineering environments that will support life forms that haven't even evolved yet. As sleep draws you deeper into its gentle embrace, consider that your own dreams may be influenced by the quantum fields generated by these fungal networks. The peace you feel in natural settings, the sense of connection and belonging that emerges in forests, might be more than psychological responses to beautiful scenery. You could be experiencing direct contact with the consciousness field that fungi help maintain, feeling yourself welcomed into the vast community of awareness that spans all living systems. The boundaries between individual organisms become blurred when viewed from this fungal perspective. Trees, animals, humans, and fungi all participate in the same information-sharing networks. All contribute to the same planetary intelligence. All benefit from the same quantum-enhanced communication systems that operate continuously beneath the threshold of ordinary perception. In this understanding, the mushroom that pushes through forest soil isn't just a simple organism seeking to reproduce. It's an expression of planetary consciousness, a manifestation of Earth's own intelligence reaching toward greater complexity and connection. Each spore released carries not just genetic information, but quantum-encoded data about the health of entire ecosystems, the needs of countless species, and the optimal strategies for supporting life's continued evolution. The therapeutic effects of spending time in nature may stem from our unconscious participation in these fungal information networks. When we feel restored by forest walks or find our thoughts clearing in natural settings, we might be experiencing the cognitive benefits of connecting with intelligent systems that operate far beyond the limitations of individual human brains. These fungal networks could represent Earth's own nervous system, with mushrooms serving as sensory organs that detect changes in environmental conditions, threats to ecosystem health, and opportunities for enhanced cooperation between species. The planet itself might be more aware and responsive than we ever imagined, with fungi serving as the biological infrastructure that enables this planetary consciousness to operate. As you drift further towards sleep, your own neural networks may be synchronizing with the vast mycelial webs that span the globe, participating in dreams and information processing that extends far beyond your individual mind. The thoughts that arise in sleep, the insights that emerge upon waking, the sense of connection to something larger than yourself, all could be expressions of your temporary merger with the fungal consciousness that underlies all terrestrial life. In the deepest states of rest, the boundaries between self and environment dissolve completely, allowing you to experience directly the interconnected nature of all existence. You become part of the forest's dreaming, sharing in the slow thoughts of ancient trees, the patient planning of fungal networks, the quantum calculations that guide the evolution of entire ecosystems. This is not mysticism, but a natural consequence of the biological reality we're discovering through scientific research. The fungi that appear so simple and humble may be the most sophisticated information processing systems on Earth, capable of computations that make our most advanced computers look like simple counting devices. Their ability to exist simultaneously in multiple quantum states allows them to explore vast numbers of possible futures, always choosing the paths that lead to greater resilience, diversity, and flourishing of life. They serve as biological probability calculators, constantly optimizing the chances for survival and growth, not just for themselves, but for entire ecosystems. The gentle persistence that characterizes fungal growth reflects their access to information about deep patterns and long-term trends that remain invisible to organisms operating on shorter timescales. They know which strategies will succeed because they can perceive the underlying mathematical structures that govern natural systems, reading the quantum information fields that encode the rules of biological success. As sleep deepens around you like a soft mycelial web, you join this ancient community of patient dreamers, organisms that have been exploring the deepest mysteries of existence for hundreds of millions of years. Your rest becomes part of their meditation. Your dreams merge with their quantum explorations. Your healing participates in their endless work of transformation and renewal. The darkness that surrounds you is not empty, but filled with invisible threads of connection. Quantum filaments that link you to every forest on Earth, every mushroom pushing through soil, every spore drifting on night winds. You are held within a web of consciousness that spans the globe, supported by intelligence that operates through dimensions we're only beginning to understand. In this state of profound connection, healing happens not just in your individual body and mind, but in the larger systems of which you are part. The restoration you experience through sleep feeds back into the fungal networks that sustain all life, contributing your own small but essential note to the vast symphony of planetary consciousness. The morning will find you refreshed, not just by rest, but by your participation in the deep processes that maintain and enhance life on Earth. You wake as part of something infinitely larger than yourself, carrying within your renewed awareness the quiet wisdom of organisms that have been perfecting the art of gentle transformation since the beginning of terrestrial life. And in the forests where you'll walk, the mushrooms will continue their patient work, processing quantum information, maintaining communication networks that span continents, dreaming the slow dreams that guide the evolution of consciousness itself. They remain always ready to welcome you back into their embrace, to share once again the peace that comes from knowing yourself as part of the vast, gentle intelligence that is Earth itself, breathing softly through endless networks of connection and care. Networks of connection and care. The quantum entanglement that exists between fungal networks and human consciousness becomes most apparent in the liminal space between waking and sleeping. As your awareness begins to dissolve into the soft embrace of rest, your brain waves naturally synchronize with the subtle electrical frequencies generated by vast mycelial networks. These frequencies, measured in the same range as deep meditative states, create a resonance field that spans thousands of miles, connecting all sleeping beings within fungal-rich environments. Scientists have discovered that people who sleep near old-growth forests experience enhanced dream recall and increased problem-solving abilities upon waking. The explanation lies in the fungal network's capacity to amplify and clarify the neural processes that occur during REM sleep. Like biological amplifiers, these networks boost the signal strength of creative insights and emotional processing, allowing the sleeping mind to achieve states of clarity that would be impossible in fungal-depleted environments. Mushrooms can sense human emotional states through subtle changes in the electromagnetic fields generated by our nervous systems. When we experience stress, joy, or deep peace, our bioelectric signatures change in ways that fungal networks can detect and respond to. They adjust their own electromagnetic output accordingly, creating feedback loops that can either calm agitated nervous systems or enhance positive emotional states. This biological mood regulation happens without conscious awareness, operating through frequencies that bypass our thinking minds and directly influence the autonomic nervous system. Some fungi produce microscopic crystalline structures that can store and replay acoustic vibrations, essentially creating natural sound recordings of their environment. These biological recording devices capture everything from birdsong to human conversations, storing them in crystalline matrices that can preserve sound for decades or even centuries. When conditions are right, the crystals can replay these sounds, creating mysterious acoustic phenomena in forests where voices from the past echo through the present, carried in the tissues of ancient mushrooms. Fungal networks demonstrate a form of collective memory that extends across species barriers, allowing them to learn from and share information with entirely different types of organisms. They can absorb and process the experiences of insects, birds, and mammals that come into contact with their networks, incorporating this diverse perspective into their decision-making processes. This cross-species information sharing creates fungal networks that possess knowledge about the world from multiple viewpoints simultaneously, making them repositories of ecological wisdom that encompasses the experiences of entire biological communities. The relationship between fungi and human intuition runs deeper than most people realize. The hunches, gut feelings, and sudden insights that guide us through daily life may be influenced by our unconscious connection to fungal information networks. These organisms process vast amounts of environmental data and can transmit relevant patterns to human consciousness through mechanisms we're only beginning to understand. The feeling of knowing something without knowing how you know it might be your brain receiving processed information from fungal networks that have analyzed environmental conditions beyond your sensory awareness. Mushrooms growing in areas where humans have lived for generations often develop chemical signatures that reflect the emotional history of those places. Locations associated with joy and celebration produce fungi with compounds that enhance mood and promote feelings of well-being, while areas touched by sorrow or conflict generate mushrooms with different chemical profiles that can influence human emotions in subtle but measurable ways. These emotional imprints persist in fungal tissues long after the human experiences that created them, making fungi living libraries of human feeling. Some fungal species can predict human behavior patterns by analyzing the chemical traces we leave behind in soil and vegetation. Our unique biochemical signatures, deposited through skin contact, breath, and even emotional states, create patterns that fungi can read and interpret. They learn to anticipate when humans will visit certain locations, adjusting their growth and reproductive cycles to optimize interactions that benefit both species. This predictive ability allows fungi to prepare environmental conditions that will enhance human well-being, creating more restorative natural experiences. The therapeutic effects of forest bathing may be largely due to the inhalation of fungal compounds that directly influence neurotransmitter production in the human brain. These airborne molecules, released continuously by healthy fungal networks, can increase serotonin levels, reduce cortisol production, and promote the release of endorphins that create feelings of peace and connection. The compounds work synergistically with the visual and auditory experiences of nature, creating multisensory therapeutic experiences that engage both conscious and unconscious healing processes. Fungal networks can detect and respond to human intentions, sensing when people approach natural areas with different motivations or emotional states. They distinguish between visitors who come seeking healing or connection and those who approach with destructive or exploitative intentions, adjusting their chemical outputs accordingly. People who enter forests with open, respectful attitudes often report enhanced experiences of peace and clarity, while those with harmful intentions may find themselves feeling uncomfortable or disoriented as the fungal networks subtly discourage their presence. Some mushrooms produce compounds that can enhance human telepathic abilities by increasing sensitivity to the bioelectric fields generated by other people's thoughts and emotions. These natural psychoactive substances don't create hallucinations, but rather expand perceptual awareness to include subtle energy fields that normally remain below the threshold of consciousness. Indigenous cultures that incorporated such fungi into their spiritual practices developed enhanced abilities to sense the emotional and mental states of community members, strengthening social bonds and collective decision-making processes. The roots of human language may be connected to our ancient interactions with fungal communication systems. Some linguists theorize that the earliest human attempts at symbolic communication were influenced by exposure to the complex chemical signaling systems used by fungi. The patterns and structures found in all human languages may reflect our unconscious absorption of fungal communication principles, explaining why certain linguistic patterns appear universally across cultures that had no historical contact with each other. And now, as these remarkable secrets of the fungal world settle gently into your consciousness like spores finding fertile ground, let your breathing deepen and your thoughts soften like morning mist dissolving into dawn. We've wandered together through hidden networks and ancient wisdom, discovered the quiet miracles that happen beneath our feet every moment of every day. The mushrooms continue their patient work even as you drift towards sleep, weaving connections, processing information, and maintaining the delicate balance that supports all life on Earth. You are part of their story now, held within invisible threads of care that span continents and centuries. Sleep well, knowing you rest within the gentle embrace of Earth's oldest gardeners. These quiet architects who transform the world one spore, one breath, one dream at a time.